Today's another travel day, and you're going to get us raw and uncensored. Hi, I'm Dan.
Hi, I'm Dina, and we are Rivers to Ridges RV.
We figured we would take advantage of another travel day. We wanted to answer some more of your questions. These are questions that people or subscribers either left comments in some of our videos, or they actually emailed us these questions as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And what we're doing this time too is these are going to be all travel day related questions.
Right.
So everything's about travel day. What's up? What's the first one?
Okay. The first question is from Travel and Bow, and he asked, how long does it take to prepare and pack everything for traveling?
How long does it take to prepare and pack everything for traveling?
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of, I guess I should say it depends. It's kind of hard to answer. What we do is we actually start preparing the day before, and we start, bringing things in slowly. If for instance, if I'm not going to use the grills anymore, I'll bring the grills in. I could do that 2 or 3 days ahead of time. The night before, we're definitely starting to pack up the patio, bringing everything in from the outside, making sure our ramp is up and things are tied down. Dina's doing stuff on the inside.
Yeah, I just start taking the pictures and stuff down off the walls. It's all command strips, so it's really easy just to take them down and put them away.
Yeah, we try to get as much stuff done the night before.
Yeah. So
the morning we're actually traveling, a travel morning, it's pretty easy for us to most everything's almost done for us.
Right.
But I guess to answer your question, if we were just to do everything at one time, start to finish, packing maybe an hour?
I'd say an hour to an hour, just over an hour maybe.
Yeah, and then another 15-20 minutes to hook up the tow vehicle.
Right.
We do go kind of slow with the vehicles. We do follow checklists, and we do take our time.
Well, we follow a checklist for inside too. But I would say an hour to a little bit over, just depending on how fast we're moving that morning.
All right.
Okay, question number 2 is from Mike and Haley. What days do you like to travel on and why? That's a good question.
Oh, yeah. What days do we like to travel on?
Which days and why?
We are probably a little different from a lot of, especially retired RVers.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you're a subscriber, you know that I work full time, so it limits our travel days to the weekends.
Yep.
Our first year on the road, we traveled on Sundays, and our thought process behind that was we would get somewhere on a Sunday. That gave us all week to do a little bit of research, find out what's in the area. So the following weekend, we could hit the road and start exploring the area.
Right.
This year, we switched it up a little bit, and we travel on Saturdays. And Saturday is our primary travel day.
Right.
The reason for that is if we were to break down or had some kind of mechanical failure, you're a little bit more likely to find somebody open on a Saturday than a Sunday.
Yeah.
And we also found that we really like having Sunday off.
Yeah.
So we can get all set up Saturday. Sunday we can relax. We can start
or go sightseeing
or do a small sightseeing
and still have time to relax.
So Saturdays for us.
Yep.
And we enjoy. We like that.
Yep. Question number 3 is from Captain Commode.
Who?
I'm not kidding. Captain Commode.
Captain. Okay. Something tells me that's not a real name.
Okay.
That must be his login name or something.
He wants to know: Do you fill your water tanks? Okay.
Okay, Captain Commode. Figures you'd have a water question. So our water tanks, we do fill them, but I only put between 15 and 20 gallons in our water tanks. We don't boondock, so I don't have to fill them up all the way to go, for boondocking.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't want to carry the weight. There's no reason to carry a whole bunch of water weight if I don't have to. And I'm sure, the tanks, that water sloshing around is probably creates a lot of stress as well. But we do put in, like I said, between 10, 15, 20 gallons, and that's only for travel day, if we want to stop and use the restroom, we can, you know, flush the toilets.
Yeah.
And also, lots of times I will disconnect all of our water hoses and everything the night before. So I do need to have some water in there for doing dishes in the morning and just brushing teeth and stuff like that. So just enough really to get through the day till we get to our next destination. As little as possible.
Hope that helps, Captain Commode.
Hope everything goes down well.
Oh boy. Moving on. Darren asks, how do you know what roads to take and how many miles?
How many miles? Oh, per, I guess on a day or
how do you know about roads to take and how many miles?
Okay. I think he's asking how many miles in a day. Okay.
Yeah,
So let's start with the roads.
So.
We use RV Trip Wizard. I think it's called RV Life now, or
is it?
RV Life. It's Trip Wizard, anyways. And we did a video on how to use that before. So if you want to see that, we'll put a link up, and you can look at that video. But yeah, we use RV Trip Wizard. That's how we plan all of our trips.
Yeah.
So we know exactly, you know, the best roads to take, and they're RV friendly roads as well. So RV Trip Wizard for roads and miles. We try not to go more than 300 miles in a day.
Right.
For us, that's plenty. We don't drive. We probably drive 60 miles an hour. That's kind of our average. So, you know, 300 miles, it's a long enough day for us.
It's usually enough.
Yeah, definitely. And be honest with you, we've been trying to cut that back a little bit to, you know, maybe 250 to 275. And that's just a personal preference. But, yeah, 300 max would be our max for a day.
Yep. Okay. Jack and Sarah wants to know, which states have the worst roads?
Oh, that's an easy one.
Colorado.
Colorado roads suck.
Yeah. Oh,
we've been through Colorado this year twice. Once heading west, another time heading back east.
Yeah.
Colorado's got to do something with their roads.
We love Colorado, but geez Louise.
Yeah, their roads aren't the best. Now, we did run into some bad roads in between Georgia and Tennessee.
Yeah.
I don't remember, honestly. We were in Atlanta, Georgia, heading to Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I don't remember that major highway, but and I honestly don't remember if it was Georgia or Tennessee, but that piece of road was pretty bad as well.
There were.
Now we have heard the Northeast. We've heard the Northeast has some really bad roads too.
Yeah.
We don't know. We're going to actually head up that way next year.
Yep.
So if you've been there, let us know, because we'll be kind of curious too. But for us, Colorado and parts of Georgia and Tennessee.
Yeah. Okay. The next question is from Luke, and he asks, "How do you secure everything for traveling?"
Bungee cords.
Bungee cords. And you make sure things are locked down.
Yeah, so there's two parts. I guess you can start with your stuff if you want. What you do?
We make sure the freezer's locked, the refrigerator's locked, the washer and dryer doors are completely shut, and that door is locked. The closet door is completely closed, and it is locked.
And we actually started putting bungee cords on a couple of our doors. The door that goes into the master bedroom is starting
For some reason.
Yeah, it's just settling, I guess. But lots of times at the end of a travel day, the door will be open, and we don't want it to start swinging back and forth.
It's got glass in the middle of the door.
Yeah, so we put a bungee cord on that to keep that closed.
And we strap it into the bathroom. The handle on the cabinet. It works.
Yeah, the pantry door, we do the same thing. We had our pantry door come open once, so we put a bungee on that now to keep that closed. So we do use a lot of bungees. We bungee cord our garbage can to the back of the chairs.
Yep.
In the garage area, we have some bicycles. Those are actually strapped down with ratchet straps. And my desk and chair. There, again, a lot of bungee cords.
And the chairs to the dining room table.
Those are strapped into.
Yeah, bungee or strap them down.
Yeah,
sorry.
bungee cords are your friend.
Yeah, they are. They're a good thing. Amanda asks, how do you find rest stops and places to get fuel?
Rest stops and fuel. So for rest stops, we use an app called Rest Stops. That should be an easy one to remember. It's a decent app. You can basically look up the highway that you're on, and it'll give you rest stops with like the mile marker where it's at, and you know what side of the road, you know, eastbound or westbound or northbound or southbound, that kind of information. The other thing, and we probably use this more frequently, I think now, is TSD Logistics. I think they changed their name now to Open Roads, TSD Open Roads. And we actually did a video on that if you're curious about that. But what that is it's a discount card for truck stops.
Yeah.
So we use that probably more often than just rest stops. We'll go, if we're going to stop anyways, we might as well get some fuel. While I'm fueling up, Dina can take Rodeo out. There's usually some grass areas that, you know, Rodeo can go to the bathroom.
Not always, but usually.
Yeah, and if we need to use the restroom too, we'll just park, after we fuel up, we'll park our RV in the back corner and go inside and use our own restroom. So yeah, TSD Open Roads, the app, we use that all the time.
Yep. Okay. Jimmy asks, I live in Florida and we've had a couple of hurricanes this year that forced people to evacuate RV parks. Have you had to evacuate, and if so, do you have any tips?
Who's that from?
Jimmy.
Jimmy? Okay, in Florida. Have we ever evacuated? Oh, we did. Yeah, we did have to evacuate.
We did have to evacuate, but not for a hurricane.
Not for a hurricane. Yeah. So
we didn't know what it was first.
Yeah, actually, we were in Tennessee, and about 4 o'clock in the morning, a police officer in his patrol car come through the RV park on a big
evacuate the area immediately.
Yeah, basically on a big speaker saying evacuate, and honestly, we only had about 10 to 15 minutes to get out of the RV park.
Saying, go.
Yes, go.
Get out.
And at this point, we didn't know what it was, so we basically grabbed a couple real quick bags. I tried to throw in a change of clothes for both of us. Dina got some food for Rodeo,
food,
some medicine,
water gallon,
and some important documents. We keep our documents in a folder, and we grabbed that as well. So we had to, that's all we could do. Now, if you're asking about hurricanes, we lived in Florida all our lives, so we've been through a lot of hurricanes, and I guess the biggest tips that we could give you is if you're in an RV park and you know you're starting to see hurricanes, you know you're getting into the warning area and it looks like it's a possibility that you may have to evacuate. Very first thing is fuel up your vehicle.
Yeah.
We've been through so many of these that the closer the hurricane comes, you know, if it's a day or two out, people start panicking. You're going to start getting long lines at the gas stations for groceries, all those essentials. People, the closer it gets, the harder it is, and things start to sell out.
Make sure you have your prescriptions refilled, your gas,
groceries, and you don't have to go overboard, but you want to make sure you have enough, like for a week, in case you did have to evacuate.
Right.
The other big tip would be, if you honestly think you're going to have to evacuate, leave early. Don't wait till the very end. What happens is, you got to think, there's one way out of Florida that's heading north. Usually it's up I-95. Everybody and their brother is heading up I-95. Everybody's doing the same thing that you're doing. The longer you wait, the longer it's going to take for you to get out of the state. It's been nothing. We've had friends that had like a 2-hour drive take them 10 to 15 hours, and that's not exaggerating. You got to think there's millions of people doing the same thing. So if you think you have to evacuate, do it early enough and try to beat the crowds.
And I don't know if we said when we had to evacuate in Tennessee, it ended up being a gas leak. Did we say that?
Or ammonia leak or something like
Ammonia
that.
leak or
Yeah.
something like
yeah.
that. That was the reason. Okay. Leanne says, I have 3 dogs. Any tips for traveling with pets? 3 dogs and tips for pets. Traveling with pets. Okay, so Rhodey was pretty easy because she's older now. But I always make sure I have an extra leash just in case it's needed for whatever reason. We carry a 1 gallon jug of water. She's a big dog, so when she gets thirsty, she can put some water down. I do have a collapsible water bowl for her. I have one that's always on her main leash that I use the most, but I also have a bigger one that is usually in the truck, and all days I left it in the garage before we left. I always make sure I have, if she is on medication, I make sure I have that in her little doggy backpack, and I also make sure I have
doggy bags too, right? We have
potty bags. Extra potty bags is always good to have on hand, which I do have in her backpack. And I always make sure I have dog food. I put a few bags of Ziploc bags of dog food, just in case, you never know it's ever needed.
So it's almost like having a kid in the back.
It's almost like having
it's kind of some common sense stuff.
Yeah.
We want some water for rodeo, maybe a chew toy, something like that. Of course, now she's older, she doesn't need it. But water, you got to plan on stopping at rest stops. Make sure you have something to pick up the poop and keep a leash and all. But that's really about it. What's the next one?
Oh, the next question is our last question. Ron D asks, what time do you try to get to your destination? That's a good question too.
Ron D?
Ron D.
Oh, Ron D. Mm-hmm. We usually try, honestly, just mid-afternoon.
Yeah.
It just, I guess it kind of depends, but yeah, we try to get there, I guess, if I had to give you a time, it'd be, I'd say between 2 and 3.
2 and 3, I would say.
2 and 3. It gives us time to set up.
Yeah.
And then before it gets dark, if we happen to get into any traffic or a big traffic jam that we might get delayed for an hour or something like that, there's still a little bit of a window there that
especially with the time change.
And good. Yeah, now that time's changed, also it's getting dark earlier, so yeah, it gives us a little bit of a leeway in case there's any issues along the road. So between 2 and 3 in the afternoon works for us.
Right.
Is that?
I think that's it. That's our last questions. That's our 10 questions.
That was easy.
That went fast.
Well, hopefully you got something out of these.
Yes.
Again, these are all travel day questions. If you have any questions at all or comments, leave comments below. Especially if you have questions. We're going to try to do some more of these live question videos to answer your questions. So hopefully
travel day RV questions.
Yeah. So hopefully this helps out somebody.
We hope you guys enjoyed our video today. Thank you so much for watching.
Remember, always live life to the fullest.
Safe travels and God bless.